guys, if you couldn't already tell by the title of this video, today we are going to be talking about tips and tricks for your DCP phone interview. Wow, I'm so lame. Someone needs to stop me. Okay, so moving right along to tip number 1. As you probably have seen in many blogs and other videos, most common is to take notes over frequently asked questions and write them down. That way you can reference them during your interview. I did do this and it was helpful, but I'm going to add one trick to that. I guess tip. I'm not really sure. Don't write these questions and answers down in a notebook. I did this. It was a major struggle having to frantically flip through the pages and find the questions and answers when my mind went blank. So I would say, instead of doing a notebook, I would rather use, if I was to do it again, sticky notes or index cards and have them laid out in front of me and not overlapping. That way my eyes could just scan over the questions and answers that I had written down rather than like freaking out and having to look through my notebook to find the answers. Tip number 2. I'm honestly not really sure if this is a tip or more just like a word of advice. That's what we're going to go with. Word of advice. During the interview, there's really no Disney-related questions. Most of it is just referencing to your past work experience, which, I mean, I was kind of disappointed about because I was hoping, you could throw a little Disney magic in there. So it's more like, how did you handle this in a work situation? How did you keep a safe work environment? Explain how you used your leadership role at your work instead of more Disney-oriented questions. So just make sure that you're able to answer questions about your job like the back of your hand, like front and backwards. You should know everything you did at your job and how that responsibility can tie into the job you want at Disney. Next would be this is my number 1 thing for your interview. My number 1 piece of advice, tip, whatever you want to call it, is this right here. So make sure you are paying attention because this will help you succeed in your interview. Make sure you smile throughout your whole entire phone interview and make sure you keep a positive... There was a motorcycle. Make sure throughout your phone interview you're constantly smiling and keeping an upbeat and positive sounding voice. The phone interviews want to hear your enthusiasm through the phone and know that you're happy and excited to be talking to them and that you are thrilled to have this opportunity to work for Disney. I even had my interview comment and say, I love how I can hear your smile through the phone. Please make sure that no matter what, even if you mess up a question, you keep smiling and keep a positive attitude throughout the whole entire interview. I promise it will help you. Okay, this tip might be kind of obvious, but I'm just going to throw it in there anyway. Make sure you have a nice, quiet place to do your interview with no distractions. This was kind of hard for me because, since we're in college, because this is the college program, I live with my roommate in a dorm room. And she doesn't like to be quiet very often, so I knew that I wasn't going to be able to stay in my room if I wanted to have no distractions, peace and quiet. So I had to relocate to the lounge on my floor. So that is another thing I thought would be helpful to future applicants, is that you find a nice, quiet place to do your interview. That way you can just sit down, focus, knock it out without a problem. Okay, so this is my last piece of advice. So therefore, you've almost made it through my first video. Woo, yay for you if you're still watching. I'm so proud of you. Okay, moving on. The last piece of advice I have is to make sure you have water or some type of drink, beverage, liquid, whatever you want to call it, with you while you're doing your phone interview. You may not think you're going to get thirsty, but these interviews last 20 to 30 minutes. And let me just say, if you don't have a drink, you're probably going to be panting like a dog at the end of it. I was constantly drinking water throughout my interview to make sure that you don't have that awkward voice crack because your throat's dry. No one wants that. I don't want that. Maybe you want that. I don't know you. Make sure you have water so you constantly stay hydrated. That will also help you throughout your interview. I will see y'all next video. Thank you for watching. If you liked my content, please like and subscribe to follow me on the rest of my Disney College Program journey. And don't forget to always think outside the tower.